You are now tuned into Storytime Chill with Val and Seal. It's Storytime Chill with Val and Seal. It's Storytime Chill with Val and Seal. It's Storytime and Chill with Val and Seal.
Woo-hoo.
Yes.
Hi, all
Hello.
the way from Houston, Texas, with this light, this electricity. We are
Yes.
back and stronger than ever with Storytime
Power.
Chill. Yes,
Yes.
power. We are here for you all. Welcome to Storytime Chill with Val and Seal, the last episode of Black History Month, but we do know that we celebrate Black History 365 days a year. So thank you for chilling with us today.
Yes.
I am one of your hosts, Miss Cecilia Seal Smith.
And I am your other host, Valerie Johnson Reed.
All right, you guys. This is a first. We have a very, very amazing guest tonight, and we salute her in advance for everything that she does for our wellness and for our community, Dr. Christina Rosenthal. And she will be sharing with us her latest book, You Can Be a Doctor Too.
That's
Okay.
right.
All right.
Yes.
So we're going to bring her on up. Hi.
There she is. Hello. Hi.
Hey.
Yay.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of
Absolutely
course.
welcome. Our pleasure. Dr. Christina Rosenthal, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a dentist by trade and I live in Memphis, Tennessee. I have a private practice called Paradigm Dental Center. I have a nonprofit coined the 516 Foundation, and our primary initiative is to encourage young people to pursue healthcare careers. And I am a recently published author.
Yay. And we're
Awesome.
going to get all the way into that
Yes.
tonight. Congratulations.
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Well, without further delay, Dr. Christina Rosenthal, take it away.
All right. The title of the book is You Can Become a Doctor Too. There are many things you can become in this world. You're certain to come up with a few. Have you ever imagined in all of your thoughts that you could become a doctor too? Ach. Oh no, someone is sick. It could be a cold or the flu. A doctor is the one to help you with that. He or she will take care of you. Dentists are doctors who keep your teeth healthy and make sure you are able to chew. Without healthy teeth, you could not eat, and speaking would be hard to do. Veterinarians are doctors who care for our pets and help animals at the zoo. When they get sick or hurt in any way, they need help like me and you. What did you think of Career Day today? Asked the teacher, Miss Sue. I have one more person I'd like you to meet. Dr. Reed, it's a pleasure to have you. Hello, boys and girls. I hope you had fun and learned a thing or two. Does anyone have any questions? I'd love to answer them for you. Hello, Dr. Reed. My name is Art. I have a question for you. For some of us, becoming a doctor is too hard because of what we must go through. Hi, Art. I think we should talk about that because that's just simply not true. Whatever your young mind decides and believes, you can always make true. Just like the others, you'll be a doctor too if that is the journey for you. My parents are gone, but I'm not alone. I have Granny and Aunt Lou. Even if your mom or dad's not around, you can be a doctor too. To be a doctor, you have to have money. Dr. Reed, isn't that true? No need to worry. You don't have to be rich. You can become a doctor too. I never see doctors who look like me. Is this really something I'm able to do? No matter what your skin color or hue, you can become a doctor too. What if your neighborhood is dirty and seeing bad things is not new? It all just makes you know much more, and you can become a doctor too. Class, the clouds may appear, but the sky is always blue. And just like the sky above the clouds, the same thing goes for you. Despite how things are around you, one thing is always true. No matter what life may bring your way, you can become a doctor too. I never thought I could do it, but now I know it's true. In just a few years, my name will be Doctor. I will become a doctor too. The end.
Oh my gosh, that was
Yes.
so beautiful.
Yes. Loved it. That
Yes.
Thank you.
that was an
Oh my
amazing
God.
story. I love the fact that I picked up on several things that by a parent being gone, a parent not being in the household, that can't stop you. By your family demographic, background, that can't stop you. Whether you're rich, the color of your skin, the socioeconomic side of it, that can't stop you. Tell us, why did you include those points in your book? What was the point of that? Why did you do that?
Well, Seal and Val, that was my story. I grew up in the inner city of Memphis. I was raised by a single mother. We lived in the inner city, which many equate to not having many financial means. I was raised by my grandmother, my aunt, my church family, my godparents, and my mother was very critical in my rearing as well. But she had some things she was dealing with. I never knew my father. And so it was important for me to tell that story in children's form and in their language because I know there's so many kids who have the same questions and
Mhm.
they doubt, when you don't have the critical pieces, doubt seeps in,
Yeah.
confidence lacks, and it's important that even our children get that. And let me
Mhm.
Yeah.
also add, my dad is in my life now, so we have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Won't he do
see.
it? That's
Mm.
Yes, he
right.
will.
All
Mhm.
right. That's amazing. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
So now that we know that that is your story and you put it into book form, what was your defining moment when you said, I want to be a doctor and I am going to be a doctor? What happened? Tell us about that journey.
So it started when I was maybe third grade. My mom had purchased some encyclopedias, and I'm reading through the books. And I get to cardiologist, which is a heart surgeon, 350,000. That's what I want to be. That's how I decided. But that wasn't my destiny because my motive was not pure. So when I got to college, I didn't do well my freshman year. I made a D in chemistry, and my advisor told me that I could not become a doctor. And
Mm,
so I went and told my boyfriend, who was my husband at the time, he was like, had you ever thought, about becoming a dentist? And I'm thinking, well, a dentist is a doctor. Let's clear that up first and foremost. But I ended up majoring in Spanish, but taking the prerequisites or the required classes to go to dental school. And I shadowed a Black female doctor in the city, and I was just so clueless. I fell in love so deep with dentistry. I
mhm.
didn't even think to research how much dentists made, although I had researched how much heart surgeons made.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I love the servitude of the profession, the ability to make a difference, and in some cases, an instant difference, relieving people of pain. So it just married all of my passions together.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That's amazing. That is such an amazing,
Mhm.
because I think just like what you said, so many times we have limits. We limit ourselves and then we let people limit us. And
Yeah.
then we
Mm-hmm.
just get kicked down and we say, you know what, I can't do it. So
Mhm.
Right.
something made you stick with it, even after your advisor or the professor said, you know what, you're not going to make it. What was it that still, because you still had to have drive and determination.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
What was it that made you say, you know what, I am going to stick with this? I am going to do that. Talk a little bit about that for us.
I've always been driven though. And it's crazy because even growing up in, we call it North Memphis. I don't know how it is in Houston, but in Memphis, we're serious about our neighborhoods.
Oh yeah.
So in in the neighborhood of North Memphis, even then, seeing hopelessness around me, there was still love, of course, but I saw so much distraught, and I knew I was going to make it out. I was going to make it out the hood. But when I got out, I was going to go back and reach and grab others and bring them with me. But I just, when I'm focused on a goal, there's nothing that can stop me. To speak to that fact, in college, once I made the decision to become a dentist, I got pregnant my senior year in college with my oldest son. And that is when another, doubt creeped in. Now you can't do it. Now you're pregnant with this child and you can't make it happen. And that gave me even more fortitude to keep pressing forward.
Yeah.
I was taking organic chemistry in the summer school, 9 months pregnant. I had my son on Saturday. I was back in summer school class on Tuesday to do my finals. I made a B out the class. I only applied to one dental school, University of Tennessee College of Dentistry, got acceptance at one dental school. So it's like once my mind is set, there's no or nothing or no one that could deter me from that goal.
Yes.
Zoned in, yeah. And
Yes.
something else that you said, Dr. Christina, you said that when you were first researching, a lot of our viewers, especially if you young, you don't know what an encyclopedia is, but it is
Yes.
a book with a ton of information. You should
Yes.
try and find one. But yes, when you were researching surgeons and you saw that salary, you said your intentions for wanting to be a surgeon wasn't pure. So I
Mhm.
also think that it's so important that when you're doing things that's aligned with your purpose, all right, aligned with your plans and your destiny, that everything starts to just come together in a sense to where I don't want to say it's not a challenge, but it almost seems effortless in the way the dots start to connect.
It does.
That's true. It's like a confirmation for you. Like you think none of us really know, right? And you think you have an idea, but when it just starts to flow and doors start to open and just resources start becoming available, you're like, okay, this is confirmation that I'm supposed to be doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
That is so true. Tell us, I have another question for you. Why is it important for us as adults in our careers to show our children vision? Talk a little bit about that.
That it's very important. It's so funny because the back page of the book, there's a cutout where the child can copy and paste a picture of themselves on a doctor's costume.
Oh,
And at the bottom
wow.
of the page,
Yes, can we
maybe,
see it?
yes,
Yes.
you can. So I'm going to try and put it up to the screen.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
That's so
wow.
cool.
That is so cute.
And you
Yes.
can even write, I am doctor, and then write your name. But vision
Yes.
is so important, and there is no age limit to vision. I have three sons, my husband and I, 20, 14, and 8, and we create vision boards every year. My
Yeah.
8-year-old, when he was maybe 3, one of his goals was to become a tiger. And we know he can't become a tiger, but that was his
That
goal.
was
And
his
we
vision. Yes.
we let him write it down, right? One of his goals was to become a dentist. And he was so small that it had to be transcribed by his older brother. And to this day, 5 years later, he calls himself Dr. Rosenthal. He's
Oh,
still
that's
stuck on that
so
goal.
cute.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
could have been a result of the vision we implanted in him with our vision board parties. So vision is
Yes.
very important.
Yes, it is. Oh, wow. I love that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing
But
that.
also too, Val, I don't know if you caught this. I'm sure you did catch this. You said your son put on his vision board that he wanted to be a tiger, and so you let him put that down. You did
Yes.
not crush his
His dream.
Ooh,
vision.
Yes.
nope,
Yes.
not at
Do you
all.
hear that? Did you see that?
Will you talk
Yes.
about that? Because we have parents and children watching. Talk to us about that. Talk to us as parents, as educators, because we see this all the time, especially with parents being a parent, but we also see it in the school system. We I visually seen people crush children's dreams. I'm gonna give a great
Mhm.
example of that. My daughter Kayla was reading really above level in first grade, and she wanted to. I'll never forget this as long as I live. She wanted to check out a Harry Potter book in first grade, and the librarian told her, and her teacher told her that's too hard.
Wow.
And I called the school and I emailed and I said, you let her check that book out. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
what you think it is. You
Mm-hmm.
let her check that book out. Talk to us about that. Why is it so important for us not to crush their dream, no matter what it is?
I think we can all answer that question, but that we don't realize that our words are seeds,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
whatever we speak manifests. It brings forth and it comes to light. And I'll give you another example. So I'm on the listening to my son's Zoom call, and I hear a teacher say, "Now I won't say this child's name, but why are you asking me that? I just gave you those directions." But then the teacher will get upset and say, "You didn't know the assignment. Well, why didn't you ask me?" We're sending a conflicting message to our children when we say, "You can be anything." And then when they say, "Okay, I want to be a princess." Well, you can't really be a
Not that.
princess.
Yes.
And so it's like the child is now confused and they grow up conflicted. So
Mm-hmm.
let them be free. Let them decide what they want, and don't shut down their dreams and don't cast out their imaginations. Let them be children.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your imagination can be profitable. Look at who's on this live screen right now.
That's right.
Let people
That's
have
right.
imaginations and their
That's
creativity
right.
and
Yes.
color outside the lines. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's
Yes.
okay. It's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was
that.
good.
Dr. Rosenthal, who inspired you? Who inspires you currently, or who
Mhm.
inspired you in the past just to have that determination, that drive just to be what you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I almost got in trouble for this question before.
Oh, don't get in trouble.
But it's good. I was at a very professional interview, and they asked me, "Who inspires you, or who's your mentor, living or dead?" And I said, "Jesus." And
Right.
I meant it, and I got
Yes,
accepted into the program. But
I know that's right.
seriously, that
Yeah.
Jesus really is. And I'm not trying to make your show. I don't know the demographic,
Oh no,
but I
speak
have
No,
to
on it.
stay
Speak
true.
no,
on
Okay, I have to stay true to who I
we are
am.
women
Yeah.
of faith and women of God.
Yes.
So
Okay,
go right
okay.
ahead. Go right ahead.
but but really, our lives should be a life of servitude, and that's when I wake up every morning. I am literally saying thank you first and foremost, and then what will you have me do?
Yeah.
How can I serve your people? And that's in every single thing that I do. I'm going to go hard in it because I know that greater is He that's in me.
Yeah.
And so I have that responsibility, and I have to be a light. So my inspiration definitely comes from my faith.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important.
That is very
Whew.
important. That is very important. Talk to us about what was the moment that you knew you wanted to become an author? What made you say, you know what, I want to tell the story. I want to encourage
Mhm.
boys and girls from different backgrounds to be like me or even greater. Talk to us
Mm-hmm.
about that.
I do a lot of outreach in my city. I have toddlers that come into my practice and they have a little field trip, and I let them pretend to be the doctor for the day, and we do all sort of fun activities. And then with my nonprofit, we had recently implemented a toddler component. So for students 2 to 5, and it's traditionally for students 14 to 18. And as I was reading to these students, I'm thinking, I need to be reading my own book, and I need to be telling my own story within that book, because a lot of the books are just very technical. This is a dentist. This is what a dentist do when you go to the doctor, But I wanted them to hear the story behind the dentist, and hear
Yeah,
and see some possibility in that story, and hopefully see themselves within that text. So
Mm-hmm.
it was important. I think we all have a story to tell, and it's important that we get our messages out there.
Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Representation in the book, but also,
Yes.
Dr. Christina, representation even in your field, right? That's
Yes,
that's that's important as well. For them to be able to
absolutely.
see people that look like them in a field, that some of them may have counted out for themselves initially.
Right.
Right. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Mhm.
true.
Do do you have a favorite book or favorite author? And if so, who and what is your favorite book and who is your favorite author?
My favorite book of all time is Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. And it's more
Mm,
like a textbook. It's like 12 chapters. And I
yeah.
really dive into it. Like I may study a chapter ever so often. And then another one is The Richest Man in Babylon. I love that one. Another one is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Mhm.
I love that book. So I actually have a few.
That's
I'm
good.
an avid
Yes.
reader.
Yes.
And so since you just said that, and we're avid readers here on Storytime Chill, tell us why reading is important. Because a
Mm.
lot of times we encounter children that say, I don't like to read, or talk to us about that. Why is reading so important, and what are some things that you've noticed we can do as a community, as a society, to help our boys and girls, encourage them in reading?
Mhm.
So the way society has navigated itself, we are more of a visual society. Everybody has focused on exterior appearance, the latest fashions and styles, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's your thing.
Uh-huh.
But in order to build mental muscle, you have to read. It's
Mhm.
just like brushing your teeth in the morning. Like it shouldn't be an optional thing. And the thing about reading is, once you build your mental aptitude, people can be in prison and still have a brilliant mind. Like no one can ever
Yes,
take away what you know.
Yeah.
So it's important to keep adding fuel to that. And it's important to keep building that muscle.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because people, when you talk to some people, they're like, oh, you're so smart. I'm smart. I just read a lot. And you have that capability. Like
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
have the
yes,
same equipment. If you can
yes,
read, you
Mhm.
could be
yes.
equally smart. We're all
Exactly.
smart, you know?
They say that
Wow.
in the classroom all the time to students. You only know the answer because you're a teacher. No, I know
No,
the answer.
no.
Even if I wasn't a teacher, because I'm
That's right.
using my
Right,
critical thinking and I read and I engage in anything that's going to grow and evolve my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all have the option to
that's
pursue
right.
knowledge.
right,
That's right. And I'm
right.
so glad you said that, because a couple weeks ago I encountered a student who was pointing the finger at another student saying he's so smart, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
what makes him different from you? The fact that
Right.
he's putting in the effort, the fact that he's trying, the fact that he's a reader. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you can
Mm-hmm.
be smart. I mean, you're smart too, but are
hmm
you applying what you know? Are you
hmm
making that
Right.
effort? Are you doing?
yeah,
Are you asking questions when you don't understand? Are you answering questions that you know?
yeah,
So I think I'm
Mm-hmm.
so glad you said it, because that's a mind. I feel like that's a mindset.
hmm
And you
Well, we
asked what can we do? And I just want to give
yes,
one thing that I do with my boys. So ever since they were little, we have three boys and they're spaced out. So we
hmm
have mommy son dates. And so my sons and I will go to Barnes and Noble, even to this day. And I will
yes,
get my Starbucks and they'll get hot chocolate. They get to pick a book, whether it's manga or whatever type of little book
hmm
they would read. And I will sit there and read my Joel Osteen books or whatever just for the
yeah.
moment. And I think it's important for parents that we model what we want our
Uh-huh.
children to do. And so
yes.
I would even carry a notebook with my to-do list. So now I'm seeing my 20-year-old who's now a junior in college in Morehouse. He carries a notebook with his
Yeah.
to-do
Yes,
list. And last
yes.
week, my 14-year-old comes to me. Now, to get a teenager to do this is almost a miracle. He says, Mom, I want to go to the bookstore. And I'm thinking, he must be about to buy me something for Valentine's Day because I know he's not buying himself a book. And so he says, I said, so why do you want to go? And I was just caught off guard, like surprised.
Right.
And he said, well, I want to get a book. I said, you do? Let's go. I was so tired from work, y'all.
Look,
I got my coat, my keys. You would have thought the house was on fire. I was
That's
just
all
hmm
so
right.
excited.
like
And
Yes.
he
let's
got
go.
President Obama's book. So he
Yeah.
got something
Oh
that's ambitious
wow.
and nothing simple,
Yes.
So
Yes.
that was a proud mommy moment for me.
That
My
was a
seeds were
win.
blossoming. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Yes.
That is
And
so special.
that
That is so
is.
those moments that you
Mhm.
create, and then
Lord.
how you speak about examples, because you have to think about these things, whether you're setting a great example or when we're showing
hmm
them those bad habits or bad cycles. Children are always watching. They're always observing. And I actually posted recently that people are always watching how you handle like your
Mhm.
challenges and your obstacles. Like how are you
yes,
reacting? How are your emotions? How are are you
Yes.
spewing, your frustration out on other innocent people that have nothing? Like
hmm
all of that they're watching. All of those
hmm
habits, whether good or
hmm
bad. So try to, lean toward the the positive, the
Yes.
positive cycles. So
Oh
that's
wow.
right.
yeah.
Yes, I love that, and I what I picked up on is that you have great influence over your children, and that should be the goal
Yeah.
for every parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, teacher, whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Should
Mm-hmm.
be.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us a little bit about influence. Why is influence important to you?
Well, influence is important. Let me say, I do give my children the space to be themselves. I think that's important. I think a lot of parents, being a doctor is great, but if your child does not want to become a doctor, don't force that,
Mm-hmm.
because what
Yes,
you'll do is create an unhappy adult. But I think the power of influence of just letting our kids see what is possible in a positive way,
Yeah.
because there's going to be an influence. So you can make the decision to
right,
be the influence, but they're going
right.
to be influenced in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
just
right.
having conversation, we make it a point to have dinner together, and we pray before we eat, and
Yeah.
we discuss. I ask them, tell me three good things about your day. And we go around the table, and even if I had the hardest day, I'm stretching, y'all. I'm like, I got off work on
Yeah.
time. I made it home on time. That's number two. I saw y'all. That's number three. That was
That's
three good
three.
things. And
Yes,
sometimes you just have to really stretch it. But I
Yeah.
want them to learn to see the positive in their day and not dwell on what went wrong, you
Yeah.
know? So that's what I call influence. You can have
yes,
influence, but you got to have relationship to have influence, you
Mm-hmm.
yes,
know?
Yeah.
Because again, people who don't have relationship with them will have influence if you don't.
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Oh, that
Wow.
relationships is everything.
Yes, that was
You
good.
can,
Yes.
That's
when you
big.
build positive relationships with people, you can almost teach them anything because they trust you.
That's right.
And
Yes.
so, as an educator, I've only been teaching 5 years, but I've had so much success, and it's only because I've never stepped foot in a classroom before my first year as a teacher. That's not my major. I didn't go to school for education, and so
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I think I've had so much success is just because I'm a relationship person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
invested. I want to know you. I want you to know me. What drives you? What makes you sad? How can I help? How can I support? And so when other
Mm-hmm.
teachers, they may have more experience or more years, but they don't have that relationship. So when that student is giving them a hard time, they're coming to who? They're like, can you talk to him, Miss
Mm-hmm.
Smith? Can you what
Mm-hmm.
he listens to, well, how did you get him to work? It's like I have a relationship. I
It's
build a
that
Yes,
high
relationship.
emotional intelligence.
yes,
Like it's not about your IQ. It's really about how
Mhm.
you empathize and how you tap into people. Like
Yeah.
really take interest in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's true. Oh
All,
wow.
all the gems. You hear this?
Yes, yes, yes. That's right. So we're in Memphis, Tennessee. Sil and I, we get in our car, we drive to Memphis, Tennessee, and we come find Dr. Christina Rosenthal.
Whoop whoop. Where we
What
going,
were we?
girl?
What are we going to see when we walk into your dental practice? Talk to us. Tell us what
Yeah.
will we see. What will we see happening at your dental practice?
Well, because of COVID-19, you're gonna see two big plastic barriers. No,
Yeah.
but you will come into a reception area that is warm and welcoming, and you will see a big placard on the wall that says "Laugh now, don't hold grudges." It's
Oh.
a thing of motivation, and then you'll see a big sign that says "Bless all who enter," and then you'll be greeted to the back, and you will see women, an office full of women who really care about the patients that they serve. And you will
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
feel that. You will feel that from the moment you enter the door until the time you leave the office.
right. That's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
I'm over here. I'm
I
like,
know.
I might
I'm,
drive to
I'm,
Memphis for
I was
my
gonna say I
next
think we need
visit.
to go to dentist.
Come
Yeah,
on,
we need to go to
girl.
dentist.
Southwest got flights on sale. Wear your mask.
We
Yes.
need to get to Memphis. I
Yeah.
see. I see. I see. Well, let's see. I had a couple more questions for you, and I do want to know what what has been one of the things that has surprised you the most about becoming an author?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I didn't make all the money I thought I was going to make. I thought when I put this book out, yeah, I was gonna be an instant millionaire, and
Hey,
people
Like
were
that.
gonna flood the gates and be like, "I want that." It's gonna be in
Mm-hmm.
every school district across the U.S., even global. Do you hear me? On
Mm-hmm.
continents.
Yeah.
It
right,
didn't
right, right.
happen. It didn't happen, y'all.
Not
But
yet.
it's happening. And so,
Yes.
slow and steady wins the race. I'm not going to give up on my dream because I
Mm-mm.
know that the messaging in this book is very important. And
Yeah.
it really doesn't
Yes.
matter. It crosses continents, it crosses barriers, racial barriers. It really is a diverse book, and it's a diverse work, and it's needed.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What would you say to an aspiring author, whether it's a child that wants to become an author, or an adult? What advice would you give them?
So first of all, write it out. Sometimes
Yeah.
we have an idea for something, but we haven't written it out. You have to write the vision. You have to make it plain. Write your story. Second thing is find an affinity group. Facebook, Instagram, everybody has a group that you can join, and there are so many resources available to you. So don't
Mm-hmm.
worry about where do I start, or I don't know the first step. Just go on those sites and just read and read, and the thoughts will come to
Mm-hmm.
you. But then you have to have a plan. So yeah,
Yeah.
now you put the words on paper. You've done a little research. You go to YouTube and look up, how do I publish a children's book, or how do I publish whatever book. Watch a few videos, and from that you create your action plan. And it may take costs, right? Realize though you're gonna mess up. There are gonna be mistakes made. You may feel like money is lost or wasted in some
Mm-hmm.
areas, but that's okay. That is your tuition for your next book. Like, you're
That's
learning.
right.
This is a process. So don't look at it as waste. Look at it as tuition. And
Mm-hmm.
just get your message out there, because like I said before, we all have a message. We go through things in life for other people. They're never for ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's important that your story be told, because you don't know who would be delivered from hearing how you overcame whatever it is you overcame. So you
Yes.
got to get it out there.
Yes.
Come on. Come
You
on.
you have just, like, these are the conversations we
Yeah.
have, that Still and I have online, whether we're on Facebook Live, on Storytime Chill, and
Yeah.
offline, whether we're
Mm-hmm.
just talking on the phone. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the conversations that we love because of the content of the conversation.
Yes.
Thank you so
Hmm.
much for sharing that. Thank you
You're
Yes.
so much for sharing
welcome.
that. When you aren't, promoting your books, and you aren't at your dental practice, what do you enjoy doing as a person?
Mm-hmm.
What do you enjoy doing?
I love doing cringy stuff for my kids. I love when they say I'm cringy. That's why I make TikTok videos.
Okay.
I make raps. I am the goofiest, silliest person that you could ever imagine. And I really love family. So spending
Yeah.
time with my husband and the
Yes.
boys, reading, definitely reading, and then
Yes.
just creating. I'm kind of a nerd. I'll just sit back and have a notepad and just jot stuff down, just getting
Mm-hmm.
out on paper. So
Yeah. That's my type of people.
I
Look.
was gonna say we
mhm.
all there. We're there. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I don't have any more questions. Seal, do you have any more questions? I know we want to get her information as far as where we can find your book.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you have any other questions, Seal, for her?
Yes. So we all are career women. What does a typical day look like for you as far as work life balance? So we know that some authors biggest challenge is they feel like I don't have enough time to write. I have children, I work full time, I have this to do and go make dinner and get groceries. What are your best tips for finding that balance to sit down and get it done?
Mhm.
So first you have to make writing a priority. So whether that means, you just write for 20 minutes a day, whenever you're uninterrupted. And some days you may have writer's block and you just might write, my name is Christina. My name is Christina. I know this sounds very silly, but what you're doing is you're forming a habit, and you just have to be habitual about your
Yep.
writing. Now, there are some people that say, well, I don't have the time to do that every single day. So what I have chosen to do is I block off a day. So my Monday is dedicated to my office. So I'm trying to play catch up at Paradigm Dental Center. My Tuesday is dedicated to my nonprofit. So of course I have to work at the dental office. So I'm going to get some dental things done. But any downtime that I have is committed to responding to participant emails or parents or contacting guest speakers. My Wednesday is all book dedication. I'm either promoting You Can Become a Doctor Too, or working on the next one, or reaching out to
Mhm.
Fiverr to get a flyer made, or creating a flyer. So I just do blocks. And then
Yeah.
Friday, after around 5 or 6 ish. That's family. Saturday, that's family. Sunday, that's family.
Yes.
And it's important to have those boundaries because as women, and I know there may be men as well on this call, but we can have mommy guilt when we're trying to balance our
Yes.
dreams and our children's dreams. It's like, how do I do this? I could even navigate virtual school, yet alone talk about some dreams. But it's
Right.
important that we are fulfilled because when we are
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled, we are our best selves and our best. We can bring our best parenting to our children. And
Yeah.
again, modeling the behavior we want to see in them is critical. And we
Yes.
do that by taking care of ourselves and having
Yes.
boundaries and limits. So,
See,
Family.
boundaries, limits.
Yes.
Look, structure,
Yes.
organization, and
yes.
discipline. I
Mm-hmm.
always like to say, because we have so many calls, like panel discussions, authors tours, and I always like to say that I treat my job as an author as if it's my 9 to 5. Like it
Mm-hmm.
has to happen. Now I might have some
Yes.
days where I have some PTO stashed away, like okay, I'm not feeling well
Mm-hmm.
today. But for the most part, my mindset is this is my job and I have to show up. Okay, so
Yes.
whatever your dream is, even if it's not you being an author, a dentist, a doctor, educator, an engineer, whatever it is that's on your heart to do, just make sure that you make that a priority. Make that a
Mm-hmm.
priority just like you do everything
Uh-huh.
else. So yeah, I love that advice. And so Dr.
And
Chris,
realize everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. We
this
talk
Yes.
about time management. Like we all have the same
yeah,
amount of time in every
Yes.
single day.
yeah,
And if you
Yes.
don't command your time, someone else will command your time for you. So it's
Yes.
important that you take control of your time.
yes. How many that I swear we've known Dr. Christina our whole lives because
Yes.
it's as if the
We have
time
We
to
are
have
family,
yes,
like
girl.
yes.
yes.
This is
Yes.
true. Yes.
Absolutely.
I
Oh
love
wow.
it. I love it. And
Yes.
if you are not watching this live and you catch the replay, you might have to rewind, play because there's so
Yes.
many themes just
And
within this
listen. Yes.
conversation. Just internalize and apply. Dr. Christina, what can we expect next for you? Whether it's with your nonprofit, your role as an author, or your dentistry.
So I am having releasing a new children's book. It's called "Our Black People Aliens," and yes, I love that. I love that response.
Come
So
on.
be looking out for that. Our Black People Aliens,
Yes.
and then my nonprofit now because of COVID. We are now virtual, and so it's open to all teens across the U.S. And we are currently accepting applications online. That website is www.determinedtobeadoctor.org.
Okay.
So if you know a teen, 14 to 18, who wants to be exposed to all healthcare professions, please register them. And we also have a $1,000 scholarship that we give away. So there's also money involved. And when I tell you it is the most fun virtual conference, on the surveys, the kids said this is the most fun virtual conference
Oh
because we're all
wow.
tired of Zoom and virtual. But we work out, y'all. We have a physical trainer come
Oh
on and she
my.
works us
Yeah.
out. We had a doctor from Nigeria, a doctor from the Philippines to come on a call. So this is a global thing, and I'm exposing
Yeah.
to them as much as I know and I have access to.
Oh wow. That's a
See.
blessing.
Oh,
That
I
is a
just got
blessing.
chills.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, yes. When you're walking in purpose, y'all. When you're walking in purpose, the income is that's in addition to that's bonus. But when you're doing it for the impact, ooh,
Yes,
it's a beautiful thing.
Yes it
Okay,
is.
yes.
it really is. So yeah,
Wow.
we salute you, Val.
Yes
I
we
know
do.
Thank
Val's gonna
you.
close us out in a second,
Yes.
but yes, your
Yes.
social media website. Where would you like for us to connect with you and to follow you?
So on Facebook, the book is You Can Become a Doctor Too. On Instagram, it's you_can_become a doctor too. All the underscores are in between the title.
Okay.
On Twitter, I am at Memphis, capital D, capital D, capital S.
Perfect. You guys, Twitter, Instagram, make sure that you follow, make sure that you support.
Mhm.
And Val,
Yes.
yeah, Val, come on.
Well, it's so much, and I've just been writing all over my little
Yeah.
tablet. It's just a lot. Well, first we just want to thank you, Dr. Rosenthal, just for coming on, just for writing the book. You can become a doctor too. In that book, you have displayed and you've shown children and adults that regardless of where you're from, regardless of your family background, regardless whether you have money or not, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of the social economic background that you come from, you too can become a doctor. You can become a doctor too. And what I love about that is within that, you also have told us about your life and how you believe in outreach, how you believe in representation, how you believe in giving back to the community, how you believe in creativity. You've talked about servitude, service, hope, but you've also talked about how to balance.
Yeah.
That's important. That's very important. You've given us affirmations. In your practice, you give affirmation. You've also encouraged us to have a vision, make it plain,
Yeah.
have an action plan, find a group, get resources. You have given us and our viewers no excuses for not being great. So tonight on Storytime Chill, we salute you for being
Oh,
here.
thank
We
you.
salute we just appreciate your story because we know that everybody has a story, and that's what we're here to celebrate, the story
Yeah.
behind the story. Your story of being that child who said, you know what, I want to be a doctor based on this, but wait a minute, this is something I want to do, but it took a little curve. And now
Mhm.
you're operating in your vision and your purpose to where now you have an influence not only on your personal children, but you have a influence on all children and as well as adults to become great no matter what. So we thank you tonight.
Yes.
And I'm looking at the bottom of the screen that says that you're well respected in the Memphis community.
Oh,
And Stephanie
thank
Washington says
you.
she's so glad that she's joined this evening. Your book is amazing. So that speaks for
Thank you.
itself. That speaks for itself. So just know that you have two sisters that are going to jump on a plane and come visit you. It just
Yes.
also just know that now that you are part of the Storytime Chill family, you're going to see even more people, come on and try to support you,
Yeah.
and you'll have opportunity to support others as well. So we salute you
Thank
tonight. We
you.
thank you for
Yeah.
being that role model, regardless of different obstacles that came your way. You stuck with it, you hung in there, and you're doing it. You're making it happen. So we thank you tonight, and we encourage you to continue. And we look forward to you coming back because that next book,
Yes.
I just
I'm ready. I'm
that
so
that
ready.
that that title just blew me away. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
whenever you're ready, you are more than welcome to come
Yeah.
back.
Oh, I am so grateful. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. I'm I'm full. Like I always get this way, but especially tonight, it's like I have so many emotions, and all of them are great things. It's like
Yes.
part of me is I'm thinking about myself as a child, as a little girl, right? For the longest, I counted myself out because everybody else did. And that
Yes.
Mhm.
negative thinking, that negative self talk, it
Yes.
can hinder you. And so I'm so glad that, God never gave up on me. He was real patient. He allowed me
Mhm.
the room to kind of detour, detour, detour. Okay, purpose. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so,
Yes.
what if you are listening to this live or you're watching the replay? I hope what you've been able to gather from this is just the fact that it's never too late to dream.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
dreaming is not just something you do when you go to sleep. Dreaming is when you're wide awake. Okay, that's your vision. That's why you're here. Okay,
Yes.
and I always tell myself, and I'm telling you, do not go down unless you get what you were put here for.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
you can bend, you can slip, you can trip,
Yes.
you can
That's
lean to the
right.
side, but until
Right.
you get what you've been put here for, hey,
Yes.
no,
That's right.
you can't go out like that. So
That's right.
we just appreciate you, Dr. Christina Rosenthal. Valerie knows my heart for her, but it's just
Yes.
like we're going to talk after this. But she
Yes.
already knows I'm just so excited. I'm excited to support. I'm
Yes.
excited to witness just everything that you're going to contribute. And so we
Oh.
thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. I'm
Yes.
I'm so full. You guys at home, make sure that you follow. Okay, make sure that you connect with Dr. Christina T. Rosenthal. Her practice, her dentistry is in Memphis, Tennessee. She's her nonprofit. We're going to drop all of these links. If you have a child that even has the slightest interest in being a health professional, her nonprofit will just pour into them and help them see it all the way through. Okay, so just make sure you support this amazing and beautiful soul. On March 13th, just quick announcement, on March 13th, Val and I will be hosting Just Right. So for those people out there who that you've been told time after time after time, you need to write a book. Oh, that's a good story, but you just never have gotten it done. We are going to sit on a call with you, give you some tips, give you some resources, and you're going to leave that call, that writing boot camp, with your first chapter written. No more excuses in 2021. Okay, so March 13th, make sure that you are following us at Storytime Chill on Valensil on Facebook, and www.storytimechill.com for that. Okay, that was a lot. Had to squeeze it in. So, Val, did you want to tell our viewers good night? Of course, we're going to make sure that we close it out with the theme song in a little bit. I'm going to get that ready for us.
No, you said it all, but good night, everyone. We thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more.
All right.
Bye.
You are now tuned into
Storytime chill with Val and Seal. It's Storytime chill with Val and Seal. It's Storytime chill with Val and Seal. It's Storytime and chill with Val and Seal.
good night, everybody.